y'all? This is Two Jersey Kids for your Tuesday episode. This is episode 30 and a half, I guess you could say. I am one of your hosts, Adam Buckingham, the host of the car crash that is Two Jersey Kids, the video game podcast that releases every Tuesday and Friday. This is the Tuesday episode, if you couldn't guess already, because it releases on Tuesday. It's in your ear holes right now. And I'm also with my best friend, the best stick handler in the business, Gary Seisel. How you doing today, Gary?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. Pretty excited. You sounded like Billy Mays a little bit there in the intro. You're very, very energetic. Very energetic.
Want to buy the sticky?
Yeah, sure. What the hell?
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, this is a video game podcast. We release every Tuesday and Friday, like I've already said. This Tuesday, we're just going to go, should we just roll right into the games releasing this week? Or should we just...
Let's do it.
I mean, we'll just roll right into it, because sometimes we go into long spiels, but, you know, we don't have much to talk about. We're not friends or anything, so let's go into it. For the week of March 27th all the way to April 2nd, I believe. That's off the top of my head, so don't quote me. Starting with Tuesday, March 28th. Holy shit, there's a lot of games releasing this week, Gary. Especially on this Tuesday. Starting off, we have Has Been Heroes coming to Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and PC. That's another Switch game, Switch launch title, I guess. So Switch has a number 5, I guess. I don't know how many games they have right now. I'm guessing it's 7. Anorexia, starting off great with the names. It's coming to Xbox One and PS4. Then we have Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix coming to PS4. I'm actually... want to look into that when it drops in price, because I can't just buy every game that's out there, and I love me some Kingdom Hearts. I love the first and second games. I never played the spin-off games for some reason, for like the 3DS or random handheld, but I'm excited, hop back into this eventually, whenever the third one comes out, 5 years down the line. Moving on, Dark Souls 2, The Ring City, coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC. So if you're looking for more DLC into the Dark Souls, universe, that's exciting, because Dark Souls is amazing. Then you have MLB The Show 17 coming to PS4. This kind of snuck up on us, Gary. Not gonna lie, I did not expect it to come out already.
Yeah, I haven't bought a baseball game in a long time, so maybe I'll actually buy this. Well, you know what it is? It's like I skipped the past probably 3 years now. I don't know. The game hasn't really changed that significantly for me to actually warrant me buying the latest version, but I don't think I have. Do I have a baseball game for PS4? I don't think I do. So maybe I'll have to change that. Oh, no, I do. I have the MLB 15. So it's been a couple years, I guess. But yeah, maybe I'll invest.
Then we have RBI Baseball 17 coming to Xbox One and PS4. Then we also have Old Time Hockey coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Gary, you should check that out. I just looked it up. It looks kind of cool. Looks kind of interesting. Check it out while I continue. You have Parappa the Rapper Remastered coming to PS4. Then you have Strafe coming to PC. Vikings Wolves of Midgard coming to Xbox One. Then you have Rain World coming to PC. Faded the Silent Oath coming to PSVR. Heroes the Monkey Tavern coming to PS4. Horse Racing 2016 coming to PS4. If you couldn't get enough of the horse racing and you want to get it a year after 2016, here it is, Horse Racing 2016. Then you have Chorix coming to PSVR. Then you have Nightmares from the Deep 2, The Siren's Call coming to PS4. Then you have Salt and Sanctuary coming to Vita. Now let me tell you about Salt and Sanctuary. I played it on PS4. This game is fucking phenomenal. It's like a side-scrolling Souls game where you're exploring. I beat the whole game. You're exploring different areas in a 2D way. Basically what it is. You fight crazy hard bosses, you block, roll, things like that. Fantastic game. Beat it on PS4. It coming on Vita. You should definitely check it out. If you own a Vita, all three of you out there, go check it out. It'd be great for the handheld. Then you have We Are Dwarves coming to PS4. Moving on to Wednesday, March 29th, you have Snake Pass coming to Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and PC. Another Switch game. Ho ho! Who would have guessed it? Then you have Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life Special Edition coming to PS4. That's like a farming game, Gary, since you like Stardew Valley so much. Maybe check out Harvest Moon. Then you have Then on Thursday, March 30th, we have Thimbleweed Park coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Then you also have Wonder Boy Returns coming to PS4. Woo! On Friday, March 31st, you have Four-Sided Fantasy coming to Xbox One, Punch Club coming to Xbox One and PS4. I remember playing Punch Club on the PC. It's kind of like an RPG boxing simulator where you train your fighter, go to different fights, and then fight like crazy people, I guess you could say. Then you have Skykeepers coming to PS4 and Xbox One. Then you have the Inner World coming to Xbox One, and APB Reloaded coming to PS4. I finally ran down all the games. Gary, did you have time to look into old hockey? Because you are our hockey expert.
Well, it's interesting. It's kind of, first of all, it's rated M, which is very interesting.
Oh, that's interesting.
But it's got like the I guess 70s kind of vibe. So a lot of physical play, a lot of fighting. It kind of, if for anybody that's a hockey fan out there, have you ever seen the movie Slapshot? Kind of reminds me of that with the craziness that ensues in that movie. So I don't know. The gameplay looks a little weird.
What? Because the graphics don't look that great? You graphics whore, Gary?
No, the graphics aren't a problem. I mean, the gameplay itself, the way the players move, the animations, it's kind of it's like sluggish almost. I don't know how to say it, but I guess it depends on how it feels when you actually control it and play it. So that game's kind of cool looking. I like the idea of it. But if I was to pick any game from the list, it would be MLB The Show. I'm familiar with it. I like sports games. I like baseball sports games. Maybe I'll actually pick it up, or maybe a little bit later, maybe when the price comes down. But either way, great game nonetheless. So
that's choice.
That's my pick.
My choice. It's my fucking turn to talk, Gary. My choice is Salt and Sanctuary for Vita. It's a solid game to play on the go, and I also recommend checking it out if you have a PS4. I'm not sure if it's on Xbox One. I don't think it is. But it's a fantastic if you're into Soul style, like, finding, I think they're lamps or lanyards in this, where you go all the way back to them if you die. You level up by collecting salt, I believe it is. Oh, that makes sense. Salt and Sanctuary. You go to sanctuaries, you collect salt, you level up, you fight crazy, gigantic bosses. You can find side bosses, different ways to explore that open up world. It's a fucking phenomenal game. I love Salt and Sanctuary, so highly recommend from me. So, Gary, since we've got through all the games now, what should we talk about? What is the topic for this evening?
The topic this week is
brought to you by Gatorade. Not really. Whew.
All right, I'm going to leave. The podcast has been derailed once more. No, actually, so the topic this week, ladies and gentlemen, is classic Xbox games that should be brought to the Xbox One. Now,
can you repeat that again, because I interrupted you? I'm sorry.
All right. Classic Xbox games that should be brought to the Xbox One. That is the topic for this evening. We've kind of been biased, I think, with some of the PlayStation coverage we've had, so I think this is a good shift to go more into the Xbox realm here.
And this is relating to how PS4 has their PS2 classics that they brought and have HD res to them. We kind of want to look at the Xbox games that deserve that treatment on the Xbox One, or Project Scorpio if you're listening, Phil Spencer, because I know you love Two Jersey Kids. I'm doing the guns with the clicking sound. Gary, should I start it off? I think I should. I'll
start it off. I know we have some, for all the listeners out there, we have some overlapping games here that we'll both be talking about.
I feel like if you've listened to us for a little bit, you would know some of the overlapping games that we're going to mention, especially Gary. But I'm going to start it off. I have Call of Duty 2, Big Red 1. And I think it came to GameCube and PS2 at the time. However, I remember it specifically because I played it on Xbox One. And I feel like this game was not, featured enough in, I don't know, I feel like it got passed over because Call of Duty 2, when the 360 came out, everybody was focused on Call of Duty 2 with the 360. PS2 had, I guess, Big Red 1, and GameCube had it, but the new console had this showcase of graphics in the World War II era with Call of Duty 2, and unfortunately Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1 kind of got passed by in the previous generation, and I really enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed playing through the campaign, and also it had multiplayer, which was fantastic, which I really loved, because I don't think Call of Duty 2 on the 360 actually had really multiplayer, if I'm correct.
I think you are correct. I think I remember playing. I actually had, by the way, Big Red 1. I also think it's a fantastic game. Kind of like a hidden gem, really, from that time. But like you said, Call of Duty 2 just overshadowed it. I never did play the Big Red 1 on multiplayer, though. I mean, I'm assuming you did, obviously?
Yes, I did. And that's what I would do. I remember going to my dad's house, actually, and playing Call of Duty Big Red 1, because that's where I had it for Xbox, and I would play it over Call of Duty 2, specifically because it had the multiplayer. After I finished the campaign, that's what I wanted to play. I feel like this game was really overlooked, and I feel like people should go back and check it out. I mean, it may not look as nearly as good as it did in my memory, but it's definitely. I think it's something that should be brought. I think people should have another crack at it. I mean, I feel like it was a great entry point for the Call of Duty multiplayer genre before Call of Duty 3 came out, where it was kind of like how Call of Duty, the original PC, kind of got transferred over to Xbox One Xbox, and used sort of utilized their multiplayer abilities or creation now with the Call of Duty Big Red 1, where they didn't have in Call of Duty 2, and that's multiplayer is a sticking point in my brain as a young child, and that's why Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1 really sticks out in my brain.
Yeah, I actually went back to play this game not too long ago, and by not too long ago I mean probably about a year.
Damn, but I remember still soon.
playing through this game again, and I was like, man, this game is definitely different from the last time I played it. It was just, I mean, it obviously has aged considerably, and the gameplay obviously is a lot different. It's funny, like the way gameplay has evolved, like even like just controllers, like how the controls are in these games compared to what they are now. It's just, I feel like everything back then was so, I don't know, like it just wasn't as fluid as it is today. You know what I mean, Adam? It's kind of like it's different.
I agree. And if you guys want to know, Big Red 1, apparently it just single player wise, if you're curious what it differs from Call of Duty franchise, it focused on a single Allied formation in World War II, the U.S. Army's 1st Infantry Division, which goes by the nickname Big Red 1, due to their unit patch, which features a large red numeral 1. The game covers the division's part in the invasion and liberation of North Africa, the invasion into Sicily, the landing on Omaha Beach in Europe, and moving east and eventually crossing the Siegfried Line into Germany. So it's kind of, just a little tidbit where the game goes. It follows one actual group or company throughout, which I kind of liked. But Gary, let's rotate back. What are you gonna say first? What's your game?
Okay, well, the first one is not shocking to anybody
because it overlaps. What I would say. So I figured I'd throw it to you.
Yeah, precisely. So the first one, obviously, not really exciting or even surprising for anybody that's been listening for a while. But KOTOR 1 and obviously KOTOR 2. Favorite RPG of all time, favorite game of all time for me personally. I think that if they brought this game back today with a new look, new graphics, I think it could really just be unbelievable. I mean, stunning even. I can only imagine what this game would look like today with today's graphics. Honestly, it'd be beautiful.
I mean, if you give it to BioWare, you might not want that with what's going on with Mass Effect and Andromeda. Unfortunately,
if they don't touch anything in the game but just make the graphics better, I think we can do it.
I don't know. They fucked up the animations.
That's what I'm saying. Just leave it the same. Just improve the graphics. That's all we gotta do.
It's so simple. It's easy. It's just basically a button press, and KOTOR 1 and 2 becomes magically beautiful.
Amazing. But yeah, that's my first game. I'm not sure if you want me to continue here or not.
Because this game also crossover. I just hit my pop filter. This game crosses over with what both of us chose, and we decided with Mercenaries: Playground of Destruction, which was essentially our first point into like a GTA style franchise, third person shooter, open world sandbox, guns, tanks. I fucking love this game. I have specific memories of going down a dirt road, and there was a bridge and a road to like a valley with hills on it, and every time I went down that road, two of the factions would be just fucking going at it, and I absolutely loved it. I like the interaction with the factions, how you can be favored with one and then become a criminal with another. I mean, North Korea always hated you. You can change, based on the missions that you decide on doing. Gary, you also picked this game, and I just wanted to hear your thoughts on it as well.
Yeah, I always liked. It's funny. I remember playing this game a ton back in the day. I always loved the destructible environments. I feel like that was kind of like a first for a lot of games. You didn't really see a lot of games with like actual buildings that could be destroyed or anything like that. So that was a different thing about this game. The thing I really remember about this game is not so much the story, even though the story was awesome and the characters were awesome too. But I remember the cheat codes in this game were amazing. Like you could get, I remember, so you had, for people that aren't really familiar with this game, you basically had like a phone or like a GPA. Is that what it was called? I think.
So futuristic.
But basically, yeah. Well, back then it was,
was it
sort
PDA,
of modern.
Not a GPA. Was it PDA?
That's PDA.
Palm Pilot.
Yeah, that was it. So basically, you could order in airstrikes or new vehicles, new weapons drops from basically, I think it was the Russian mafia would be they used to deliver it to you. Go figure, right? Of
course, obviously.
So the coolest thing was in a cheat code, you would enter a cheat code and it would give you like these crazy weapons that would be deployed to you. So one of them was called, like a street sweeper, which was like this crazy Gatling gun, submachine gun that could just spray bullets nonstop without reloading. There was another one that was, I don't even remember the name of it, but it was this gigantic rocket launcher that could just destroy buildings. It was insane. You would just shoot one rocket, the whole building would come down. I used to just use that thing to no end. But that's what I remember most, sadly, is the cheat codes, because I was a cheater back then. But yeah, great game.
I loved, in that game, I loved, getting... It's kind of like how everybody loves in GTA get chased by the cops. You would get chased by other factions in this. I remember them bringing in like helicopters and trying to take me out as I was driving through cities. Fucking phenomenal. I love that game so much.
I used to actually, in addition, I remember, I'm not sure if you did this, but I would get in a helicopter and constantly I would just fly around for hours just shooting down other people. It was so much fun. The simple things, man. The simple things.
Another fucking series we can do. I love me some Mercenaries. I don't care how bad it looks. I mean, it's just fun. It's just fun.
Honestly, it still looks pretty solid even today. That's one of those games that it didn't ever like have the ultra. They weren't really going for like the ultra real look. Like some of it's kind of cartoonish. I think it wasn't like. I don't know. I think the game still looks pretty solid today. Honestly,
I haven't popped it in a while. I don't even have the ability to. So, yeah. So, I mean, you're the best because I think you still have it, right? Currently on your shelf.
Oh yeah, my Xbox is sitting right in front of me too. Yeah.
So maybe Gary will pop it in tonight and take pictures for you.
It's a possibility.
Should I name a few more of mine, or do you have any more?
Yeah, shoot, go for it.
Okay,
go for it. I have more.
We all have KOTOR 1 and 2. Then also, in addition to, continuation, I forget who developed this game, so let me make sure I don't fuck it up. Charge! We are garbage, truck on fire, Developed by BioWare, obviously. I just wanted to make sure so I didn't fuck it up. I didn't want to say like Obsidian or some bullshit. But don't shake your fucking head at me, Gary. I run the show. I can end your call whenever I want and take it over.
All right, keep going.
But it's Jade Empire. I really love this game. It was kind of BioWare continuing after KOTOR 1. They didn't go on to KOTOR 2. I think they branched off into Jade Empire. And I love this game. I felt like this game was phenomenal. It kind of had the same dynamic with KOTOR with choosing your morality and what you would do. It touched on to... I forget where it took place specifically. I don't know where it took place. Some Asian area, I believe. Do you know, Gary?
I actually don't, but I basically, I don't know.
I was going to continue talking before you went into your spiel.
Okay, well, keep going.
I love this game because it had what KOTOR had with the decision making and, having a kind of like not a band of brothers. That's sort of like in my head right now, but like a group or party to go with, if I remember correctly. And you had a morality system, and I remember the combat. The combat was so fluid. It was not like KOTOR where you had, just choose an attack and you just go at it, which I loved. It's more strategy based. This felt more fluid, martial arts style combat, and I don't know. I just love the game. That's basically it. I can't, because unfortunately this is a game that I would love to go back to, but I don't have the ability, and that's why I would like it to come back to Xbox One. I don't have the ability to go back and jump in and see what and remember all the reasons I love this game, but I just know it's in my brain that I love this game so much. I remember trying to start it one time because I was a little young and I got this game, and I got stuck on a certain portion, and then I came back like maybe a year or two later and just fucking like, oh my god, this game is amazing. Why did I miss out on this? And I don't know. I just love the game.
I actually never owned this game, but I remember, if you remember back in the day, you would get the Xbox magazine. I'm not sure if you got it, but I did. And with it would come the demo discs that they would give you. And Jade Empire, coincidentally, was one of the games on that demo disc. So I remember I played, I don't know what part of the game it took place in, but I remember I played
China!
a little bit.
That's where it takes place.
Yeah. But yeah, the game was pretty cool, though, for what it's worth. I mean, for what I remember, the combat was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that sticks up in my head.
You had like different weapon styles, different magic that you could use, different support things you could do, transform into different creatures. Kind of cool, I think. You could transform in that game. I feel like it's like on the tip of my brain of me transforming into some gigantic beast, if I remember correctly. You know. And
on a side note, may I just say that this is like the golden age of BioWare? I mean, they had like KOTOR, Jade Empire, Mass Effect. I mean, seriously, like those games.
You're saying wrong? Like just like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Golden Age. Like they just went like crazy for like, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, I guess. But like it's insane. The games they released in like such a short period of time.
In 2007, this was released. No, it was released in 2005. I don't know where at 2007. Special edition. Then it came to 360. So, you know, bring it to the Xbox One and Project Scorpio. It's a fantastic game. Gary, go before I run out of things to say.
So, the third game now, it's going to be surprising, I think, to some people, because this is a game I feel like a lot of people forgot about, and it's Star Wars Republic Commando for obviously the original Xbox, but this game, it didn't really center around a Jedi, obviously. It centered around just basically a soldier in the Republic Army, or the Republic Army. But
makes sense.
This game was really cool. Like I felt like it took place during the Clone Wars, if I remember correctly, and it looked amazing for the time. It probably doesn't look that great anymore, but it was so different from a lot of the Star Wars games I ever played. I mean, you fought like a lot of droids and everything, and it was just a really cool game. I mean, did you ever play this game, Adam? Because I think I remember playing with you back in the day.
Republic Commando? I don't remember having the game. So, yeah. Sorry.
It was, I mean, but honestly, though, it was just like a Call of Duty type campaign. I mean, you just went through different missions, and I don't think I ever beat it. Surprise, surprise. I was young, and I just played through like random missions and never really had any goal in mind. But just an awesome game, and, you know, that just made it on my list.
Solid.
But take the wheel.
Wheel. I'm going to say one more. I have more, but I don't know really. I don't feel as passionately about some of them as I do Jade Empire or Call of Duty or Mercenaries. This final one that I want to say is actually, it's kind of like a cop-out because it came, like Big Red 1 came on other systems, but I remember it specifically on my Xbox, is Spider-Man 2. It was one of like the first great superhero games. I remember playing Spider-Man 1 on the PS2, and I went over to Xbox, and I got the Spider-Man 2 on there. Unfortunately, Spider-Man 1, I hated it because, well, I didn't hate it, but I hated the portion where you could not go like on the ground. I hated that. Every time you went too low, your Spider-Man would technically die. You would randomly swing. You would not be connected to buildings. Sometimes you would hit the sky, basically. You had no clue how you were going through the air. All the missions took place on rooftops, but it was Spider-Man 1 was a pretty solid game. And then Spider-Man 2, they took it a whole another step where it was like open world. And every time you were swinging, it felt like you were actually hitting a building, going from place to place. You could go down and see civilians. You could save people, picking them up, carrying to different areas. I mean, that's what I remember specifically about Spider-Man 2, and that's why I would like to bring it back, because I don't know, there hasn't been like a solid, really in a while, a solid Spider-Man game, and I think this is like an easy way to get a good Spider-Man game on the next generation. I know Insomniac is developing another Spider-Man game for PS4. Should come out in a few years. I'm psyched about that. But in the meantime, bring Spider-Man 2 back to the current generation. I don't care if it's PS4. I know this topic. I don't care if it's PS4 or Xbox One. I just want it back because it was a fantastic open world Spider-Man game. It was actually one of my first open world experiences besides, I think it's that and Mercenaries. But I think Spider-Man 2 was first, if I remember correctly. Yeah. I don't know. It was a fantastic game. I loved it. I loved it so much.
I have to say, I never got too much into like the superhero games, but I don't think
because you're dead inside. That's why.
Yeah, apparently. I'm trying to like think of one that I owned, but I never did, unfortunately. But anyway, I want to read off my last game on my list here. It's actually one again that I've never played, but I actually would love it if they actually brought it back, so I could. It's widely considered the best Elder Scrolls game of all time, and it is Elder Scrolls Morrowind.
Solid.
I know a lot of people that love this game. They say it's better than Skyrim, better than Oblivion. Now, personally, Oblivion was always my favorite, but then again, that was my first experience in Elder Scrolls, so I'm kind of biased.
I think a lot of people say it's better than Oblivion is because the same reason we say Oblivion is better than Skyrim is that the quest delved deeper into like lore and into the quest and storytelling of that quest. And it wasn't just, go here, kill that, go fight these trolls, go here, collect this different material claw so you can open a door to find a special thing.
Yeah, I think I've also heard a common complaint that a lot of people felt that Morrowind it really felt like a different world as opposed to Oblivion, where it just felt like the generic fantasy style world where it was just like, you know what I mean? Like kind of like Lord of the Rings, maybe. Game of Thrones, I guess would be the best way to describe it. But I don't know. I mean, I always loved Oblivion, but yeah, I would like them to bring Morrowind back just simply for the fact that I never played it. And I'm a big fan of these kind of games. And I would like to play a game that a lot of people think is the best Elder Scrolls game. So.
One of the worst crimes in my video game history is I did play Morrowind. I never got into it, unfortunately. Elder Scrolls Oblivion was the one. I think I've said it before on podcasts where I got lost in Morrowind when I was younger. I got lost in a city and I could not figure out for the life of me how to get out. But I do remember when I was exploring that world, it definitely felt a little darker, a little more bleak. And it didn't have, the ability of fast travel in that game, which was a huge, from what I can remember, a huge thing. I think you could fast travel, but you had to pay for it, so it wasn't as easy as Oblivion, where you just go from place to place, zing all over the map that you find. So, I mean, it felt like more like an actual RPG, or like a legit hardcore RPG of traveling from place to place, finding open new quests, Elder Scrolls style. And yeah, I think that's a good idea, bringing it back to Xbox One. Maybe remastering it like Skyrim, but make it like beautiful. Don't do like the HD up-res where it doesn't even look that great. It just fits on a TV screen. Just do a whole new, do kind of what they're doing with the Crash series, reamp the graphics, have all the basic stuffs in there. Be fantastic if they add, this is so hypothetical, I doubt they'll ever do this, but add voice actors to do those quests. Do all the new, update all the graphics so it looks amazing in that world. I don't know. That's before Elder Scrolls 6 come out. Man, who knows? Maybe Elder Scrolls 6 is actually going back to Morrowind, and maybe it's just a carbon copy where it's just what I'm saying right now.
I doubt it. But I can only imagine the amount of resources it would take to actually do that, to remaster Morrowind, considering how old it is now.
Yeah.
That'd be intense, but it'd be cool to see it happen anyway.
Do you know if Morrowind's available on Steam?
Yeah. See, the only problem I have, though, is does it work on current PCs? Because, I got KOTOR 2 a while ago, and it worked on one of my computers, but now it doesn't work anymore because of Windows 10 and everything, and it really pisses me off. So it's
got a 10 out of 10 on Steam, so it must be amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, that's actually it for my list. I didn't have a ton of classic Xbox games that I could think of, mostly because I sold for some reason a lot of them back in the day, but
that's the thing that always, being a young kid, you're trying to sell to get I don't know, like the better game at the time, and then when you get older, you think back about it, and you're like, shit, why did I sell all those games? I mean, I know, like sometimes you sell like all these games, and you end up getting like a clunker type game that sort of sucks, and it's kind of unfortunate because you sold some like really solid games. I've made some poor decisions with selling certain games, but then I also think back to some of these games I will never ever play again, but there's some that are like near and dear to my heart that I did sell because, you know, at the time I was a young kid who didn't understand the importance of that game.
Yep. Indeed. It's a sad state of affairs.
It is.
Actually, I remember like when I used to sell games, this is like a random thought, but I remember I went to Game Crazy. I'm not sure if you did the same back in the day at Hollywood Video, but they used to give you some decent money back for your games. Like it wasn't
Game
a joke.
Crazy. That was it's been a long while since that's been around.
But like seriously though, I used to go there more. I never really went to GameStop. Yeah, because GameStop always, you know how GameStop is. I don't think anyone really actually likes that place anymore. But Game Crazy was always pretty legit though, and they helped me get my PlayStation 3. Back in the day, the guy was cool, so you know, it was cool. That place is pretty sweet. But yeah, that does it for my list. Do you have any more games?
Do I? I have more, but I don't like. None of them hit like the heartstrings of what I've done. One I included because I know you've played it, but I don't even know if I've never. The only reason I remember it is because collecting, I remember, I think it was like local multiplayer we would play against each other, where you would collect people to play against. This game I'm talking about is a Brother in Arms franchise, not Freedom Fighters, which is also a fucking fantastic game.
I was thinking about that earlier, by the way, funny enough, but yeah.
I don't know if it came to Xbox One. I don't really remember.
I don't think it was on Xbox, no.
See, the thing I realized is that I wish I'm better remembering like numbers and figures and stuff like that. I wish I had like your type of memory because you can rattle off more things about games that you've played. And I realized that I was talking about Jade Empire because I know I love it and I can't like verbalize why I love it so much. But you were always the better math student. It's not like we're. How do you think? It's not like we're doing a podcast or anything where we have to verbalize what we're thinking.
You were always the better math guy. How do you think I passed 5th grade math?
Yeah.
It was terrible. Terrible times. But
yeah, I got to do the numbers. Yeah, I'm a more numbers guy, and so I'm trying to. I feel like the podcasting has gotten me out of my normal comfort zone and trying to make my brain expand in certain ways, which is kind of cool.
Indeed.
Sorry,
I don't know. I have like the craziest memory where I can. Like even with music, I'll hear a song and I'll think back to a certain time in my life, like where I heard that song. Like that's how I work. It's really strange, but yeah. Yeah,
they say that memory is very stimulus oriented. Most of the time, you can remember the most is by hearing something or like smelling something. Because I've been in areas where I smell a certain thing, and for some reason, like for example, I forget where I was. It was probably some like doctor's office or some random thing, or dentist's office where I was in, and all of a sudden I got a whiff of like a random smell of some flower or something, and it like brought me back to when I would go to my grandma's when I was like 3 or 4 years old, sitting on her couch, hanging out with my pop-up, hanging out with like some of the other kids that were coming over, and that's how. Stimulus is very good with memory. So, if you're ever, studying out there, get a stimulus for yourself. Smell things and bring it to your test and start sniffing. It won't look sketchy at all.
The more you know, people, the more you know. You're learning new things every time you listen to this podcast. I know. Trust me.
It's not like we go off the rails sometimes. Like, what happened here? But yeah, this has been Two Jersey Kids. This is the Tuesday episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're a new listener. I hope you're a continued listener. If you are a continued listener or a new listener and you like us so much, please share us with your friends. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet to the podcast. And also, please give us a rating on the podcast app service that you use, whether it's Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, even though I don't think you can do Google Play, but TuneIn, where else? iTunes, where else are we? Podcast Addict, Overcast, recommend us on Overcast. I don't know. All the millions of places where you can get podcasts. Please rate us there. It'll help us greatly with getting, more followers, hopefully grow this fan base to be, millions. Just kidding, not millions. Well, you never know. We'll shoot for the moon. If we don't get to the moon, we'll hit the stars. That's a saying. Space. I love it. Yay! Should I end it, Gary?
You do work for NASA.
I do.
But I do. But anyway, yeah. It's been a good time being here. I'll see you guys on the Friday episode where we talk about the news. I'll catch you later. Adios.
All right, guys. Until Friday, keep playing those games. Have a good one. Bye. Ha ha ha.